And we're back. Welcome back, everybody, to another guest episode on the Trouble Boys Club. Today, we've got a cult hero here at the Trouble Boys Club, Mr. Iwan Williams, who's back for his part 2, El Regreso, as you would have seen on the story. Everyone's favourite modern man. How are you doing, pal?
I fucking love that intro. Class. I'm doing very well, thank you, lads. I've had a good day, enjoying spring and the lighter weather in the UK, that's for sure. Training hard and enjoying it, working hard and enjoying it as well, mate.
It does make such a difference, doesn't it? Like you said, coming into spring. Because I remember something that we spoke about a lot on our first pod was about like the natural lighting and everything like that. And can't remember what it was that you said. It was about like, I've heard it in so many different places. Where did he hear this? I heard it on a pod somewhere. Oh no, it was on, what's that YouTuber guy I listen to? He's called Jeremy something. The fitness dude is on YouTube. It's called Jeremy something.
Jeremy Ether. Yeah.
He was saying, I think Richard Branson sleeps with his curtains open, so he gets like the natural sunlight to wake him up and shit, because it promotes all that.
It's circadian rhythm.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, fully agree, man. Like fucking spring, literally puts a spring in my step. Like, like, do you know what I mean?
Love the pun. Oh yeah, definitely more energy. You wake up with more energy because it's more light. You have more light throughout the day and you feel better. But yeah, it's a pleasure being back on, lads. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're great. Just chatting a little bit before we hit record about smashing the gym and stuff like that, which is been mint on it.
Yeah, going really well, mate. Honestly, I've got an holiday booked in September, so I'll be walking down the beach like fucking Ryan Gosling from what's that film where she goes, "Are you photoshopped?"
Barbie?
No, it's Emma Stone.
I don't know.
Oh, La La Land.
No,
they're in La La Land, though, aren't
they are in La La Land.
They are.
It's not that film. What's it? I don't know. But
I think they've done like 3 films together, them two, haven't they?
Have they?
I think so. I'm sure I've seen that somewhere.
Either way, you want to look photoshopped. I want to look photoshopped.
We've got the perfect guy here, mate, to fucking speak to, because my man looks photoshopped out of his head.
Absolutely peeled like a fucking orange, mate.
Dwayne Peel for the Welsh rugby fans out there.
Yeah, I would like to know a bit more about the whole getting shredded kind of shit and that, because honestly, like, you go down, like we mentioned just then about Jeremy Ether, who's like really good for tips and shit when you're in the gym. But when you are on YouTube or TikTok and you watch one video, you see another video at the side, and there's so many contradictions in like one person will be like, you want to get jacked, all you need to do is these 3 workouts for the rest of your life, and then someone else will be like, oh no, you need to do this, that and this. And honestly, I was actually having this conversation with you in the gym the other week one night, and I said, surely, like, I know there's so much science behind it now, because that's what that Jeremy Ether guy does. I think it's all backed by science what he does. And it's like, you see, and this not an easy way to word this, and I've got to be careful what I say, but do you know, like, people that are probably like bald and wear tracksuits who just fucking go gym and just fucking do this with a bar and fucking get ripped out their heads? Surely, like, people aren't all doing it the scientific way, are they? Do you know what I mean? Like, surely you can just go to a gym and just fucking swing weights around. Do you know what I mean? Like, how I've gone about this awfully. Like, but what would you kind of say to that? More the start bit about the certain ways to get certain results. Is it? You think it is super strict on that?
I think that it all works to a degree. The big thing that is the challenge for most people is just fucking turning up and doing it consistently over time. Yeah, there are better ways of doing things based on scientific research and things like that. But at the same time, science is, at the end of the day, an average. Scientific studies are an average of what worked for most people in that. study, if that makes sense. And there are always outliers in science. And the thing is, as human beings, we're difficult, right? We all have different preferences that are going to help us stay consistent. Because if we hate what we're doing, we're not going to keep doing it. Most likely, unless the goal is like super, 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 super important. We all have slightly different genetic responses to different styles and types of training. Someone might respond better to power-based, strength-based workouts. So generally the higher weight, lower rep, more powerful movements. I'm one of those people. I've done, I think I said when I came on last, I've done one of those spit tests and got my like genetic report back of what I'd be more suited to and things like that. So the annoyingly, what I think good answer is it depends. Whereas I know most people just want, this is how you do it, this is the way, which going back to the social media stuff, because people know that if you are very direct and you speak with certainty on social media, that draws people in, if that makes sense, and that hooks people into your way of doing things. Whereas in reality, yeah, those 3 workouts will work if you keep doing them. But at the same time, it's not those 3 workouts that are the be all and end all, right? Yeah. Hopefully that answered your question.
No, it absolutely does. I know we've got like tons of questions, and a lot of them will probably just be like rabbit holes only. But
yeah, all of them will.
I'll let you ask some of yours, because he's obviously got all these wrote down and prepared, whereas me, I'm just like firing shit at you, like, you know, like that I want to know anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to hog it because I can do that quite a lot. So
no, don't worry, mate. Right, where should we start now? So for like the sort of, for someone first thinking about getting into resistance training and things like that, is the bulking and cutting method absolutely necessary? And I know that can kind of depend on what the person's goal is. So in this scenario, let's say the person is at 20% body fat, average Joe at best, and he wants to trim down a bit and get some muscle mass. Does that person need to bulk to get the muscle first and then cut down, or can they build the muscle while being in a calorie deficit to a degree?
Got ya. So from what I've seen and what I know from some of the research and stuff, firstly, yeah, it depends on what they want to achieve. If they are like generally a beginner, then you can do both more easily at the same time, if that makes sense. You can drop body fat whilst building a bit of muscle. I'd argue the thing to do first of all, because most guys want to get more toned, drop body fat, build muscle. Often the misconception is, I need to just get fucking wedge and build muscle first and then lose the body fat. From my experience, the better way of going about it is getting really fucking lean first, and then building from there, because it's a lot easier to build on a blank slate. It's like trying to build a house where there's already a house. You're going to have a hard time doing that if you haven't got a blank slate, whereas it's a lot easier to build a house on flat ground. If that makes sense. Terrible analogy, but hopefully that made sense.
Well, it makes sense. That's something I wanted to touch on as well. So, say in my situation now, like what you just described, then is like ideal. So, at the minute, I'd say we're kind of just more focusing on like weights and stuff, aren't we? But when you said then about you'd focus first on getting lean, would that be kind of like, I don't know, like more cardio and kind of getting, like you said, to a blank canvas or whatever, and doing resistance training, maybe like HIIT workouts and stuff, and then smashing weights? Is that kind of what you meant? Or
Not necessarily with the type of workout, because like I said before, it all works. And the workouts are, when it comes to getting in shape, less important in terms of the body composition. I'd argue that you want to lift weights, whatever your goal is. If you're trying to drop body fat, keep lifting weights because that's going to help you keep as much lean tissue as possible. If you're trying to bulk up, you absolutely have to lift weights to provide and give your body the stimulus to build the muscle. So I'd argue that like always keep some kind of weights training in there. If you are trying to drop and lean up, it can definitely help to do a bit more cardio because you're going to be burning more calories, burning more energy through doing a bit more. But the main gist of that really to lean up is what you put in your mouth. It depends on your preference.
Based diet.
No, that's so true though, because you hear that a lot as well. It says like, if you want this body or whatever, it says like 90% of it is in the kitchen. Do you know what I mean?
There's
90%
that.
Big. And is that obviously like your healthy fats and protein? Because I see loads of stuff where it says like the perfect diet, and I've seen something before. It says like shouldn't use technically a diet because it's really hard to stick to. And I've seen something once where it has all the food types and it says pick 3 from each, and then like so you got your vegetables, like your healthy fats, protein, all that kind of shit. And it says like, and then it's so easy to stick to if you've got that. Like you said, there's so much different stuff, but I've found since we've been going to the gym loads, I just tried to fucking collect as much protein as possible. That's probably just a proper caveman way about going about it, and especially being veggie as well. It's a lot harder to source protein. But I do find now that I'm always looking on labels and being like, shit, that's got so much protein in it. Versus some things I pick up and I'm like, oh my god, I'm not even going to waste my time eating that because it's got fuck all in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's a great thing to do is have targets like that as mini targets with either calories or protein, and then it kind of directs your mind to having more of an awareness and more focus on the things that you're putting in. And protein is everyone bangs on about it in the fitness world because it's true. It's key, especially if you're wanting to perform, wanting to drop body fat, because and everything really, because if you break proteins down, they break all the way down into amino acids, which are the building blocks of everything in you. So we need it. It's important. I was going to say you're still vegan, but you're veggie. Were you vegan before?
So Jay? I was veggie, and then I went vegan for a little while around the time when I was speaking to you about it, and then because I went vegan about like the skin thing, with the diet to try and eliminate certain things, like you said, that elimination kind of factor.
Yeah.
And it weren't really making a difference, so I was like, okay, might as well. But I've cut it out loads though now. Like I rarely have dairy. I have milk all the time, like in my protein shakes and in like my teas and coffees or whatever. And then the only time I really have dairy is when I have like the odd bit of cheese or eggs. So I tried to like scran a few eggs as well, because it's I think the average egg has like 6 grams of protein or something. So smash 3 eggs, I'm like, boom, protein shake. Do you know what I mean?
Be like that guy from when was it? COVID. Do you see the challenge? What was it? That nutty alcohol challenge. Can you remember it? No? Was it in COVID? I think it was. It was Matt, like everyone was just down in these drinks. And this guy, like a bit of chicken's head off, downed a pint of vodka and then...
Oh, I remember it, yeah. Was he...
Do you remember that?
Was he Polish or Russian or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Russian.
Well, we don't want to assume to do it, but I do. I remember,
probably.
I remember the video because he's like got both of them in his hand and he bites the chicken's head off and like fingers it down, washes it down
Yeah, and
bottle
next
of
raw eggs.
and he's like,
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
alive, or dead?
I
I don't know. I can't remember. I think it might have been dead
I'd
already.
wait it was dead
Hopefully.
after he bit his fucking head off.
Yeah. It was a chick, wasn't it? Not a chicken. As
But how
well.
much protein was in that?
He probably hit his quota for the day. But yeah, it was when people were doing that running, give 5, take 5, whatever, weren't they?
Yeah.
We were just doing pub quizzes to be fair in COVID.
Yeah, did a few.
Workouts.
We were doing hit
Yeah.
workouts because the weather was unreal for that summer, and it
It was
must
class,
have been
wasn't it?
a blessing from the great beyond or whatever that we're all indoors. But the weather was unreal, so we were just
Yeah.
outside on WhatsApp video chat
Yeah.
doing like hit workouts together.
It was like the summer of hit workouts and Zoom quizzes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe wins
Yeah.
his dream, wasn't it? Fucking Joe.
Do PE with Joe in the morning. Come on,
Yeah.
Joe.
He's mental, Joe. It's like
He's class. Yeah.
Essentially kind of what you do, innit? Like, do you know what I mean? Like everything that he does, like, I think it's mint me. I've seen like loads of documentaries about him as well, and he had such a bad upbringing. Like, I think I don't want to quote it because I can't fully remember it, but I'm sure his father was like a drug addict, and his parents were both pretty absent and shit. But yeah, it's unreal how much like turned everything around, and yeah, he does all obviously the food and shit as well, doesn't he? And then all the
Yeah.
fitness stuff too. But
I need a
Yeah.
week. I'm sorry.
it's alright.
Enjoy it, mate.
You know what?
Enjoy
That's the reason why.
Hydrated as fuck.
It's got times on it for me to like drink for each like
Yeah.
hour of the day.
Right.
So,
It's funny, isn't it? It's funny when you start drinking loads, you're like, bloody hell, I didn't realise how much I was going to need a piss every 5 minutes.
He's terrible anyway. Like he probably pisses like every half an hour, but he also pisses faster than anyone I've ever met in my life. Like he'll be down again in like 10 seconds. But yeah, it's been mega though going to the gym and that, like proper do enjoy it. And I think one thing that I was worried about at first is kind of going in, because it's not that it's a judgmental place, but because you do see all them kind of videos online about people, like filming people who have bad form and all that kind of shit. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I was worried at first about going in and just looking like a fucking wally. Do you know what I mean? And people looking at me, but luckily, we kind of signed up together and went together. And
Yeah.
Ryan's a lot more like clued up than me in terms of, like what kind of workouts to do. Because I would be one of them people that would typically just go to a gym and just fucking do anything, and be like, I'll lift this, I'll lift that. And obviously, you better do certain exercises with certain exercises, aren't you? So like chest and like arms or whatever, and then back and all that kind of stuff. Whereas I'd just go in me and be like, yeah, I'll have a bit of that, I'll have a bit of that. Do you know what I mean? So that's one thing I was worried about, but I am getting the hang of it a lot more now. Like I proper love going in and like on the cables as well, especially like to do so many different workouts.
Yeah,
with cables.
Yeah, they're so like versatile, aren't they? And it's just I've learned a lot about from like Dr. Mike Israetel, is he called?
Yeah, I've heard of him. I've seen some of his stuff.
Yeah, he's
not loads though.
He's really big on the sort of like the stretched position of the muscle for sort of like optimum hypertrophy and things like that. So everything that we do on the cables and stuff is just to get the maximum like stretch at like the bottom part of it, so it's like the hardest at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then the tension, it remains throughout the entire movement. Whereas, say if you use like dumbbells, like for say like a lateral raise, you've got no tension between the first like 40 degrees or something like that. Then the hardest bit's in the middle, and then you know what I mean. So we use the cables quite a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
The main reason is for that constant like time under tension of the muscle and stuff like that, which can lead on to a question. Do you think that's like correct in terms for hypertrophy to build muscle, to put it in the stretch position, sort of not as much as you can, because you might tear your muscle or something like that, but is that the best way than doing it in the shortened position of the muscle?
You're going to get the same answer as I got before, mate.
It all works.
Oh, it all depends. I think context dependent. For hypertrophy, yeah, I think it is more beneficial because you get a bit more muscle damage. And I mean, if you do look at the research, it shows that if you get that muscle into that stretched long range position, I call it, you elicit more stimulus for growth. Pretty much. At the same time, it's also volume dependent. So how many sets per muscle group you do across the week, as an example. Say you do I think the optimal's somewhere between 10 and 20, according to science. But again, we're all different. Some of us will probably do better with 25. Some of us, we can't even get a lot of good gains with a few sets, like 3 to 6. So say you do, like a set of chin-ups, 3 sets of chin-ups, 3 sets of like cable rows, and then you go and do 3 sets of bicep curls in that stretch position. You're essentially getting 9 sets, kind of biceps, secondary on 2 of the movements, but main on another. And just because you're doing that bicep exercise in that stretch position doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily grow muscle. More likely to, but at the same time, it's if you're hitting enough volume for your body to stimulate that reason to change and grow. Because building muscle is fucking hard. Muscle takes up a lot of energy. So your body won't grow it that easily. So it's, working hard enough, taking those sets to a hard enough weight and rep number for the weight that you're using. Generally, it's between 1 and 3 reps before you fail, basically. Staying consistent over time and eating enough protein, resting enough to grow, essentially. That's the long-winded answer to the question again.
I've got another question off the back of that. Do you think rest days should be rebranded to growth days because of the misconception that you get big in the gym? Because ultimately, you don't. You get a pump and all that. That's just all the blood rushes to the muscle. But in the gym, you actually break down the muscle. It goes smaller. You do the damage there, and then when you repair is when you rest. So instead of people, because you see videos of them go on like, oh, I'm on a rest day, and they're all like in the room, just like fucking not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
But if you rebranded it to be like, oh, I'm having a growth day today, it's a bit more of a positive spin in it, isn't it? Than like
I like that.
Like lazy day.
Yeah, it's a great mindset shift because I think, I'm very much in agreement with you, mate. I think, and there's an equation that I've put on my Instagram before, and I always bang on about to all the guys. Stress plus rest equals growth. So yeah, mate, let's make growth days great again.
Does it work for your cock?
I wish.
Like, come on.
I wish, mate. I wish.
The medium schlong society here, mate.
Go on, mate, you go.
I can't remember what I was going to say now. Probably something similar to what you were saying then, mate. Yeah, I loved it. It's like fucking
question time, isn't it?
It's like having a PT for free, mate.
I said that to him on the voice note before. I said, this is advice for us, and then everyone else can benefit from it.
100%, mate. Everyone, people will all have similar thoughts, questions, and I was just like, fucking hell, I hope I actually know the answer to these questions.
It's all right, man, because like you watch these videos online, and when you're watching them, you have so many questions, and you can't fucking ask them. Do you know what I mean? So you end up just fucking going with the flow. But yeah, I suppose one question I kind of had was something off the back of what you was telling me. which I just found really confusing. So obviously, like I said, in the gym now, we kind of doing a lot more like lifting and chest and arms and back and stuff like that. And usually, I've always been into cardio, so I love all like my running and all that kind of stuff, rowing machine and shit. And I think I was under the impression like do that workout and then I could do a run after. And you said something along the lines of like, no, because it'll cancel that out or something. Do you remember?
Yeah. I think what I was saying was if you do like a big like resistance session and then go do a run or whatever, it's probably the muscle that you're trying to acquire in that session is going to be pretty redundant if you go for a long like jog or something like that, because you're just going to keep fucking bashing the muscle again and again and again, aren't you? And that's why I said let's do like the walking afterwards, because it's like keep the heart rate a bit low, so you're not in that sort of like glycogen carbohydrate burning phase when you're running. And I was saying that that's a better chance to sort of like maintain the muscle that you've got, instead of doing like an overexerting jog or something after you do a resistance session. So I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right to a degree. I mean, you're still going to build muscle if you do resistance training, but then if you are overdoing it on cardio, going too hard without the recovery, like we were talking about a minute ago, then it's going to be more difficult. I think the main thing is actually, you can do both. It's better if you leave a gap between, say, weight training and cardio. So you can do both. Like sometimes I do both in the same day, depending on what, my goal is at the time and the weekly structure of training. But yeah, like a good 4 hours between is best, so that it doesn't hinder what your main aim of the session is, essentially. So you could do like, if you wanted to build muscle, if that was more of a target for you, you could do a quick resistance session in the morning and then a bit of cardio in the evening, say like 30 minutes each, or depending on time. But at the same time, if you only have a block of time and you want to hit weights and then do some cardio afterwards, it's fine, you can do it, and you can still build and grow. It just might hinder it slightly. Yeah. If that makes sense.
No, it does, yeah. I just found it dead confusing at first, because remember you were saying about like the blood pressure and that, weren't you? And I think I was saying about doing HIIT workouts as well. So, because obviously HIIT workouts are quite convenient, where you can just do them from anywhere, like in a little 20-minute block. What essentially does a HIIT workout do? Do you know, like if you're doing a high intensity, like, like fucking press ups and burpees and all that kind of stuff? What is that doing? Is that essentially? Yeah, I don't know. I'll let you answer it, because I don't know. Like, but I quite like to do them, but I've been worried that if I was doing them and then going to the gym and lifting, it might, I don't know, like you said,
like hinder.
Yeah, kind of hinder it. So I get worried, like, oh, I don't want to do that in case I'm then doing that, and then, do you know what I mean? Because I'm, like I said, if it worked for him, I'd be going in there like fucking doing cartwheels and shit. Like, do you know what I mean? I know.
Getting tangled up in
Class.
In the cable.
I'd love to see that, doing a Spider-Man upside down on the cable. So what? Yeah, HIIT. There's quite a few different types of HIIT training. There's like standard HIIT, which is doing your hard, fast, cardio-based movements, like burpees, high knees, jump squats, jump lunges, and that's basically just what's the word? Like almost glorified cardio workout. You are getting a slight benefit in terms of if you do push-ups in that HIIT, a little bit of strength work. But at the same time, it's mainly just getting that heart rate right up near max for brief periods of time, then resting and then going again. So, and you get a lot of benefit from it.
So what
in terms of
from getting your heart rate right up and then resting and then getting it up again?
It's good. It's really good for long-term health and fitness, because you get that, almost up to max heart rate, and then rest a little bit so that you can go again. It's probably not good to have that heart rate at max for long periods of time, because it is quite taxing on your body and your nervous system, so it's hard to recover from, which is why brief periods of going hard with rest can be quite helpful. And I think if you're going to do like a HIIT workout 2 times a week maximum, really, for like 10 to 30 minutes, that's going to get you into that like vigorous level of activity. And I think, I can't remember now off the top of my head, but I'm sure the recommended time in that is 30 minutes a week, I believe. 30 to 60 minutes a week of being in that zone, just for the long-term health and protective benefits on your heart, cardiovascular system, and things like that. At the same time, if you just smash HIIT all the time and don't do any of the weights and the other stuff, then it can be quite taxing on your joints, on your nervous system, like I said. And so I think to have a well-rounded program, a bit of both is good. But then again, like I'm going to probably say in every single fucking answer, it's context dependent on what you want to achieve. Like if you want to just purely build muscle, then you're probably better off hitting more weights for a time being. Mm-hmm. My philosophy is very much do enough or the minimal effective dose of everything, but have a main goal at the same time that you spend more time doing. As an example, if you're wanting to build more muscle, spend more time on the weighted work in the gym, lifting weights, making it fairly difficult, hitting whatever you want to focus on more, between that 10 and 20 sets per week, and then add a little bit of HIIT or a little bit of conditioning, either bolted onto the end of your workout or on a separate day, and then a little bit of like walking on the step or something like that at the end or on a separate day.
Do you find that walking on that step is beneficial? Because usually I kind of just see like girls on it, and I just assumed it was for like, I don't know, toning up their ass and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, walking upstairs is pretty tough, isn't it? Yeah. And you're obviously shifting your weight every time you step up, so it's going to have benefit, but it's mainly just cardio, really. Right. Mainly just getting more steps in, getting more movement in to burn a little bit more throughout the day, which will then possibly put you in a bit more of a calorie deficit, so you can burn a bit more fat. But like I said earlier, like the main thing for that is going to be your nutrition and what you're eating. Yeah.
Well, that leads nicely into my next question, which I believe is a question that you wrote down anyway. Calorie deficits. So again, I'm trying to like come at it from the point of view of, I say someone that doesn't know a lot. Like I don't fucking know a lot. So I hear calorie deficit quite a lot, and I'm assuming it's where is the average calories you're meant to consume a day in it like 2,500 for a man and 2,000 for a woman, or something like that. So is that it's around that, in it? I think
that's like the rough, very rough guideline.
So is it calorie deficit like where you consume a lot less than what you're supposed to, so then your body, I'm guessing, is like fucking really hungry and trying to just fucking eat fat?
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. So basically your there's a few things that make up like how much energy you spend or burn throughout the day. There's what they call like your basal metabolic rate, which essentially is how much energy you burn just by being alive. And that's based on the size of your body, how much lean body mass you have. So if you have more muscle, generally that's more, and it's more expensive. So you'll burn more energy doing fuck all if you're absolutely jacked. So moral of the story, get jacked. And so building muscle is helpful for that, for sure, alongside obviously looking good. It's helpful for keeping fat lower. So there's that, BMR. And then there's what they call TEF, thermal effect of food, I think, which is energy spent eating and breaking down food. Protein's higher on this. It's roughly, I think, about 10%. And so that's why when you are trying to lean up or drop body fat, that's why protein is another key macronutrient, because it costs more energy to basically break it down and eat it and digest it, alongside the fact that it makes you feel fuller. So I think the research, like you can go up to, which is high, like 3.3 grams per kilo of body weight of protein. Yeah, which just helps. It helps. The more you have, the more helpful it is in terms of dropping body fat. Obviously, if your gut can tolerate it, basically. And then there is what you call, I can't remember the abbreviation for it now, but it's basically the energy burned through activity or exercise, and then what you call NEAT, so non-exercise activity, thermogenesis. So that's why you see the asses on the stepper in the gym. That's why they a lot of the time they do that, or they get programmed to that, because they're doing more activity to burn more energy, essentially. And so we don't have so much control over BMR unless we either change our weight or build muscle, because that's based on height and body, like I said. We have more control on what we consume, calorie-wise, and how we move. And the big rock of that is going to be what we consume, essentially. So say, there's a few equations actually out there. Can't remember them off the top of my head. There's like the Harris-Benedict equation, McArdle and Catch. But there's loads of calculators online that you can use to get a rough idea of your calorie number and things like that. They're all inaccurate, just putting it out there. So are all the trackers.
Is it like apps there where you can...
There's apps. Yeah. There's apps like MyFitnessPal.
Yeah, because I've
things
seen
like that.
Track the calories before. Do you know, like when you're in the kitchen and stuff at work, and people are like putting the calories in their phone. I've never done anything like that. Do you think that's worth doing?
Yeah. Personal opinion. Yeah, it helps because it gives you an awareness of roughly what's in foods that you're eating. Obviously, the human body is the human body, and it's the way a calorie is measured is how long it takes if you burn the food to heat up water by 1 degree or something like that. That's how they work out calories. Again, when we digest food, we're not literally burning it and heating up water in our body. We're breaking it down. Enzymes are doing their thing. Having said that, it is a good and fairly accurate way of tracking your food. But I think they're not 100% accurate. There's always a little bit of error in what the app says the food is, your logging and how much you've actually eaten, grams. And so I think it really, really helps to get an idea. At the same time, if you're someone who knows that you get bogged down by numbers and you can get obsessive, then maybe it's not so good for you. But I'd say if you haven't trialed it, trial it out for at least a week just to get that awareness.
And you said it's MyFitnessPal is one.
That's the main one. Yeah, there's quite a few out there. Yeah, MyFitnessPal, Chronometer, NutriCheck, I believe, is another one. Yeah, there's quite a few, but I think those are like the bigger ones.
Yeah. You have your own. Do you have your own app, or is it like a web portal kind of login? For your clients?
Yeah. So I've got an app that I use. Yeah, and that links up to MyFitnessPal actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And there's some apps, like I used to use an app called Trainerize, which is a good one, which has its own like nutrition tracker within it, which was pretty good, but the database wasn't quite as good as MyFitnessPal. Yeah. So it's good. It's a good thing to be aware of and measure calories and knowing what you're putting in your body, how much you're expending, although again, activity trackers aren't that accurate in tracking how many calories you're burning, which is why I think be open-minded with it and do a little bit of experimentation. And if you are wanting to drop weight and lose body fat, the research is there as well. Like weighing yourself every day generally helps better than doing it sporadically. At the same time every morning, because then you get into a routine. You're doing it in the morning first thing when you haven't eaten, haven't drank loads all day. Hopefully you don't have a massive shit brewing overnight. But the best way to go is to do that and take an average over the week. Again, if you get obsessive, then maybe it's not the right thing for you. So again, there's context to everything. If that makes sense.
No, it does,
yeah.
I've seen loads of stuff as well saying, like, I think sleep is super important because that's when you burn so much when you are asleep and you literally just lay there doing nothing. And there was something saying, like, that's why you always wake up and, feel thinner. Because, like, lots of people apparently always say, like, why do you always feel the skinniest in the morning? And it's because, like you said, you've not fucking eaten anything for, like, 10 hours or something, and you've burnt loads of calories whilst you're sleeping. Something you just never even think about, is it? What?
No, you don't. Your body's still doing its biological functions and all that jazz. And yeah, you are dehydrated in the morning. So you'll be generally feel a bit slimmer.
I think Ronaldo, I'm sure I've seen his routine, because obviously it's ridiculous, but I'm sure he sleeps and has like naps during the day as well, because he swears by like how important sleep is for recovery and stuff. And obviously the guy is fucking 40 years old as well and absolutely shredded out of his head. It just doesn't seem 40 at all. But yeah, to be like his diet, he just smashes fucking fish and eggs out, and then I think like I can't remember what else he has, but yeah, I remember when he rejoined Man United and all the players was like fucking staring at everything he ate in the canteen. Luke Shaw fucking not being able to eat chocolate anymore.
Luke Shaw watching around. Fuck.
He's like, oh fucking hell. Yeah. He is a specimen, a fine specimen, and yeah, sleep's like definitely one of the best things you can do for everything. It's strange how for something so like seemingly frustrating and like the most pointless thing in the world, because we just want to be awake all the time and doing shit. Clearly, well, we definitely clearly need it to function and perform our best. Just that's how we are. That's how we're wired, biologically. So yeah, sleep is like one of the most performance enhancing things you can do. How is your sleep, guys?
I'm pretty decent at sleeping, to be fair. Someone asked me this the other week and I was like, yeah, okay.
Did they?
Decent,
yeah.
I always go to bed around about 10, 11, and then I wake up usually when my daughter decides to wake up. But I'd say around about 6:30, 7. So I get like a good 8 hours-ish, which I think works quite good.
Yeah.
I think you're probably the same, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm very similar. I put on a podcast or something like that. I have to fall asleep to some sort of noise. So I find it turns my head off because I'm just focusing on the podcast. I'm not thinking about anything else. My mind's not racing or anything like that. And then I'll nod off within about 10 minutes. And I think I go in a bit earlier, about 9:30, 10 o'clock, mainly. And I wake up at about I'm an early riser, to be fair. I wake up about 6:30, 7:15. But I'm a
Class.
proper deep sleeper though. Like a bomb could go off in my
Yeah.
room and I would have no idea. Like,
Yeah.
They say that all men are like that though, aren't they? Do you know, like when we've had kids and stuff, like you so many times where your partner or someone else's partner say like, oh yeah, fucking men sleep through everything, don't they? Do you know? But I'm sure it's like, is the right word
biological, yeah.
that women, once they have a child, can hear a fucking pin drop. Like, do you know, during that being asleep? Because like
Yeah.
in the past, when my daughter was a baby, like she'd be crying in the night, and I'd sleep through it. I'd never wake up because I physically
Yeah.
couldn't fucking hear it. And my partner would be like, she'd be like, did you not hear her last night? And we're like, nah, did she wake up?
Nope.
Like, yeah, 3 times. And I'm like, well, I can't. Do you know what I mean? I can't. I was fucking asleep.
I was
It's not my
asleep.
fault. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't wake up. But like, yeah, I think I swear like it's just women being tuned to that kind of shit. Because like, yeah, my partner said like at the time when before she had kids, like she was a deep sleeper, and then when she had kids, she'd wake up like that.
Yeah, I think there probably is something there
Yeah,
with that, like that motherly protective mechanism.
yeah, 100%.
This must be why they're built into us.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what about yourself? But what about your like plans for the future? Is it going to be a modern baby on the scene anytime?
No plans
Modern
as yet. little modern Bab running around doing pull-ups, doing sit-ups. Yeah.
That's a film.
Gonna be a little.
What film is it now? It's like a proper daft one.
Is it like the spoof of Meet the Spartans?
Yeah.
3000.
The baby's born and it's got a 6-pack.
Yeah.
I think it has a beard.
yeah. Like it's Leonidas' son in it. What's it called? Is it called Meet the Spartans?
Something like that. I'll have to dig it out.
Maybe.
Send it. Yeah.
It's well played.
It's like stupid funny in it. Like
stupid.
You know what I mean?
Like Britney Spears is in it, like shaving her head and shit, like with that baby in her arm. And then
actually her? Or...
No.
Oh,
It's like one who looks like her. It's just like going, goo gaga, goo gaga, and then fucking someone kicks her into the pit.
Oh yeah, no, I remember.
I've seen it. I've got a vague memory of someone just booting someone into the pit, but I can't remember anything else of that film. I remember it being hilarious though.
Yeah.
But yeah,
films are a bit of a thing of the past now, aren't they? You don't see them often.
No, like what was the big one? Scary movies.
Yeah.
They were class.
Have you seen that? Is it Final Destination? They're doing a new one of that. Do you remember that one?
Are they?
The one where it's always like the cheat death and then something happens.
Something go. Yeah.
They're bringing a new one.
Yeah, I remember the sun shower one. Someone in a sun shower and they get stuck in it and then they fucking crisp to death.
Yeah.
Sunbed. Yeah. Sunbed. Sorry.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Yeah. Oh mate. Horrible.
With the logs.
Shit.
Oh yeah, angry.
Logs on the truck. Yeah, the train crash. Terrible films.
No.
when they go and watch the race, NASCAR racing, and there's a massive crash and it all like blows up the whole stadium somehow. Yeah, terrible films, but for some reason we watch them and stress ourselves out over it.
I don't. I always loved like, do you know, like that thrill that you get from a horror film. I don't know why. Like, I don't know whether it's something psychological, but I just love that thrill you get from it. And I was trying to explain it to you ages ago, when we watched Smile.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, I think it's because you don't get that feeling anywhere else. Like, you do, but usually it has a consequence after it. Whereas when you're watching a film, you get yourself to, like, feel all like that. And then after the film, it's like, oh, it's done now. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the psychological thrill of it, like, fucking shitting myself and being like, oh, fucking hell. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the cushion, like, fuck.
But I'll watch them though
Yeah.
on my own, like an absolute psychopath.
Fair play.
Cat with no
There's
fur.
just staring like.
Yeah, not blinked for 2 hours.
I think it's the stress of it makes you feel like alive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah. To a degree. but it also, if you watch it long before bed, it fucking
A lot of
fucks up your
criminals
sleep.
feel like that, don't they? That's why they commit crimes, for the thrill, the rush, and then it's like
Yeah.
addictive, that feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, and then they get worse and worse and worse, and then they turn into Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you seen the film, the Ted Bundy one? I can't remember what it's called. It's like disgustingly, horribly something sickening.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Shockingly wicked.
Yeah,
that's it.
Something like that.
But it's Zac Efron who plays it.
Unreal.
And I'm like, they've fucking done him a bit of justice here, mate. Like, they're letting him play in. Because I know that's what they said, that he was a proper ladies' man and shit like that. But when you see the fucking clips of him at the end,
I know.
it looked like a fucking tramp. And all the girls that was fucking going mad for him looked like tramps as well. And I was saying at the time, I was like, why have they let Zach play him, man? Like, because they make you like him.
I think it's that for that era, like, he was like a bit of a handsome chap.
Yeah.
For that era. But nowadays,
Yeah.
wouldn't be considered handsome, I don't think.
No, probably not. So I think he had like slightly long hair,
Quite charming.
bit of a beard. He was apparently very charismatic.
Yeah,
so
or Riz.
good at, yeah. He had a good riz, so not like me. My riz is shocking.
I've got a good Riz, yeah, I've been told.
Yeah.
Great.
I never thought about it.
Oh, it's in the dirt. I didn't know. I thought she was sat on a stool. You know, like at them tables where they're like high up, and she was obviously chilling there, but she's obviously got this fucking thing on her chair that hovers her up like that. So I fucking next her. Next minute she was like, "Do you want a drink?" And I was like, "Yeah, go on then." She fucking powers down. I went down to the bar and I was just like, "Oh my god!" She was like, "You're not bothered?" I was like, "Fuck no." I was like, "Can you not feel anything from like the waist down?" She was like, "Nah," and I was like, "Imagine like." You wouldn't be able to feel shit then. Even if she could feel something the waist down, she wouldn't feel it.
Yeah. So, mate, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter to me.
You got a tiny dick, yeah.
I need to clip that and put it on Insta.
It was a proper thingy moment though, wasn't it? You know, like I had no idea, and then it was just a shock. I was like, oh, like what have I done? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to like lead her on or whatever. And it was, I felt tight afterwards, to be fair. But then,
just very unexpected.
On the bucket list, isn't it? You know what I mean?
on the bucket list.
I think that was on our charity stream night, wasn't it? When we did that Christmas charity stream for raising money for kids, for presidents on it. Yeah. So he was just feeling merry as fuck, mate, after it.
Class. Yeah, I've got a good mental image of that now.
I'll send you a picture, mate, later on. I was looking there with only like that. Yes, this is going on the story.
Proper fucking Carl Pilkington moment.
All that in between us, mate.
In between his moment.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, fucking segue away from that before we all get fucking cancelled.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. No. To answer your question, no plans for a little modern baby on the way.
Yeah. Well, I was actually gonna elaborate on that before I drop the modern baby pun. Have you got any more plans for kind of just Modern Man in general? Like, do you kind of see it going in a certain direction, or because I think we had a PT on a long time ago now, didn't we? And I think he ended up opening his own gym and that, didn't he? I can't remember his name. The dude who had long hair and a beard.
Oh no, he's putting him on the spot now.
He normally knows this shit.
I do know.
Fucking risen with autism. But yeah, anyway, like, have you got any plans kind of for that? Because as a PT, do you kind of... Because I always wonder this, like, PTs, do you kind of, like, work in a gym, but you're self-employed as your own PT? And then, is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, a lot of the time. Yeah, obviously you can open your own facility, bricks and mortar spot.
Yeah.
A lot of my stuff is actually online. And I work, yes, the physical side of things, like the PT, the fitness, the nutrition. And also a lot of it's, as you know, from like the last podcast we did. a lot of it is like the mental side of things and the mindset
Yeah.
from where I was like struggling with my mental health a while ago, and how just getting myself in a good spot physiologically, as well as psychologically is the way to go. And like my philosophy, all these P words, eh? Philosophy, psychologically, physiologically. That's my kind of philosophy, and a lot of it's done online, like calls like this with guys just to chat through things, and then the app with the programming for training and nutrition. So my goal is to keep doing that, keep building that, get more guys into the program, to help them basically, and then as a result of that improves their lives, improves the lives of people around them, because they're essentially better men, feel better, look better, for themselves and those around them, which eventually is like a domino effect on guys in society. That's like the North Star, the why I'm doing it. So I wouldn't say I have a plan to open up a facility, just keep growing the Modern Man. Like whether it's coaching guys locally in Cardiff, or whether that's getting people who want to be coached by myself online.
I always wonder though, like how with the online thing, because that's because I remember when I spoke to you quite a while ago now about possibly doing some PTing with yourself online, and I think I always wonder about the online thing, and just little things like how would you know you're doing shit right? Do you know, like if you had a physical PT next to you, they'd be like, no, or do you know, like motivating you to push you harder. Whereas with the online thing, I suppose that obviously you do the program and shit for them, don't you, and do the check-ins on Zoom and stuff. Yeah, I'd always imagine it be not hard, but to make sure you're doing it right, essentially.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And that's where sometimes like doing some video feedback, like film yourself or
they film themselves and
film yourself doing an exercise in the gym or at home or home gym or wherever you are. Which again is another slight barrier sometimes. Feels a bit awkward to film yourself in the gym. So I think and also that you have that level of accountability outside of just that one gym session, because you got like communication on WhatsApp and things like that.
Yeah, true.
Whereas sometimes if it's just that one session and then that's it, see you later, off you pop, there's less accountability outside of that with like nutrition and the challenges that come up day to day, because I think that's where the real coaching is done. It's in those daily moments where challenges come up, where you can't be fucked, and things like that to get to the gym or to cook that meal. But yeah, you're right in a sense. Like sometimes people need to have someone at the gym waiting for them, helping them in the moment, in real time, to make tweaks to their what's the word? Their form on a squat or a deadlift or bench press, all these things. But at the same time, it can be done via video. So I think if you are like a complete beginner, probably your best bet is to do some in-person stuff initially. Get used to being in the gym, get used to getting technique right. A lot of the time, generally, that's more expensive, which is why it's a bit of a barrier. So over time, you can transition to online. So you've still got the program to follow. You've still got that support outside of the gym as well, which is great. But maybe you don't need so much of the one-to-one hours in the gym. Does that make sense?
No, it does. Absolutely. I suppose just off the back of that, one last question before we wrap up. We're at the hour mark. I know that you do a shitload of content on Instagram. That's all proper mint as well. I love every time I go on Insta and I see it. I do always think like, how the fuck do you have time to do these videos as well? Because honestly, they are proper good quality videos, and I can tell that you do a lot of creative thinking behind the videos too. But I was kind of going to ask, do you know, like I mentioned that Jeremy guy earlier on YouTube, Would you ever do anything like that? Do you know, like YouTube videos, kind of like showing people how to do certain stuff? Because I know with Instagram, you can do a video and then like that video's right down and no one might see it. Whereas if it's on YouTube, so like you kind of like, I don't know, like a fitness journey with fucking John and his journey, and you know, like showing people and motivating people. Would that be anything that you'd ever do in the future? Or
Yeah, do you know what? I've considered it quite a lot.
yeah,
What's put me off is my own brain and my own thoughts around it. Like, oh, it's gonna take a while.
yeah,
Time editing,
yeah, exactly.
thinking of it, putting it together, all these moving parts, coming up with the ideas. So yeah, it's something that I actually really want to do, and it'd be really cool to do.
Yeah. I suppose
But
you
I
could
think
always
it's
like.
partly my own. Go on.
No, I was just going to say you could always not rip off what other people have done, but in terms of ideas, you could go on. So I know I've mentioned this Jeremy guy about 100 times in this pod.
Oh, Jeremy, oh.
You could always like go on his channel and be like, oh, he's just posted something like fucking top 5 myth busters to get fucking ripped, and then you do you know what I mean? You could just do something like that, because I'd love to see shit like that, because I don't know why, but I always find that going on YouTube, that's just my own personal preference. I know a lot of other people these days go on TikTok. That's what Archie was saying, one that he goes on TikTok and looks for workouts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just find it a bit more resourceful, because you can actually go on YouTube and search in, like, I don't know, good way to get fucking lean or blah blah blah. Just find it's a bit more, I don't know, you're more likely to put a video on and sit there and watch it. I think that's just my personal opinion. But
Yeah. I think different people like prefer different things, don't they? And I think definitely with YouTube you can make the videos a bit longer, so you can go into a little bit more detail, a little bit more context with things and explain things more, which I think is great. And actually, like full transparency, it's actually potentially better at the moment for like a bit from a business perspective, because there's like research and data around how much people need to consume your content before they're ready to buy, if that makes sense. And obviously if they watch a 20-30 second reel versus an 8-10-20 minute YouTube video, it's way more. I can't remember the exact number, but something like that. And that's why also another reason why I want to start doing YouTube, A, to help people better, B, because it could actually be a good form of marketing for the business.
yeah, definitely.
If I'm honest.
But
Yeah.
that's all I thought, because when I see your stuff on like Instagram, I always think that must have took ages to do anyway. Do you know what I mean? And like you're already doing half of the battle, like with all the editing and everything. So I just something that crossed my mind before when we was talking. I was thinking, cause I'd sit there and watch them. Do you know what I mean? If he was doing YouTube videos, I'd 100% watch them. So yeah, I'll be
Great.
checking YouTube.
You in on one, being Jeremy on the other, and Jay just like that. Fucking.
Feel like an episode of bloody South Park. Can't remember which one. Where what's his name?
Oh, I know.
Stan's dad, I think. If you ever seen it, it's hilarious.
When the internet goes down
Anyway.
and he gets access to internet on this one computer, just fucking watching Jeremy hardcore. Fucking blasting.
Yeah, jizz everywhere.
Oh mate, well,
Class.
It's been fucking mega anyway.
This has been ace. Yeah, thanks a lot for your time, Ewan. It's been really, really good to have you back on, and insightful as ever.
Pleasure, guys, as always. We've had a good laugh again.
Defo.
And appreciate you having me back on.
Oh, mate, always welcome anytime, man.
We need to think of a clickbaity thumbnail for YouTube.
Debunking the fitness industry.
Yeah.
Nah, get
it's a great shout.
Workouts.
Context is everything.
Get a bigger picture in 5 minutes.
Get a bigger picture in 5 minutes.
You would fuck Jeremy in a fight and tag him in it. Who's got the red abs?
We'll start.
Yeah, fuck Fuck all this Jake Paul KSI. It's Ewan versus Jezza.
He'd be in Jeremy's corner, like, oh, go on, get in, son. Fucking love you. Spit on you. Go on.
No, not there. Don't spit there.
Sorry, I'm spit in your mouth.
What have you got? What do you think's been the most insightful thing for you guys today?
Most insightful thing is that
But-
everything works.
Yeah.
It's just a case of just turn up, be consistent, and just I don't know. It's what Greg Doucette says it a lot. He just says go harder than the last time. Whatever you did last time using the gym, go a bit harder the second time, then go a bit harder the third time you go, and just you will make results. It's just a case of the consistency that will get it for you.
Yeah.
So it is no one size fits all to do these 5 workouts only will get you into the shape or whatever, because you could do them for half the year and it's going to do a bit, but not as much if you were consistent throughout the year and then adopt it like that. It's part of your life. It's habitual and things like that. So I think people are looking for too many shortcuts in this realm. You know, like get abs in 30 days and all that shit, and it's just fucking not possible unless you're already at like 9% body fat or something anyway. So I think it's a process, and you sort of it's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to lose weight overnight, and I think people can get sort of like sucked into the I can do this dead quick, and that's just not the case.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, people want that result in the click of a finger.
Yeah, exactly.
When in reality, if that were the case, you wouldn't actually enjoy the result, because the enjoyment comes from actually the effort that you put in to get to where you want to be. That's where the real mental gains are made, and the real reward comes from, because you've put in the effort to get there.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think so. And that's why, as cliche as it sounds, like trying to enjoy the journey, the learning, the challenges, the different parts along the way, the trials. So yeah, that's my 2 pence for the evening.
Right then, we will leave it there. Thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate it, and we'll be in touch as ever. And yeah, wish you all the best in the world, mate.
Cheers, lads. Always a pleasure.
Take care.
Nice one.
I look forward to the potential 3rd episode.
Absolutely.
At some point.
Yeah. See you in a bit.
Nice one.
Peace.
Much love. Have a good evening, lads.